KMSU.
Hello.
Hello, Melissa.
Hi there.
How are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Excellent. This is Dustin Wilmus from KMSU. I'm here with my co-host, Ton.
Hey there, how you doing?
Good.
Good, that's good. I'm glad we got you on the line here. If you're ready, we'll, I guess, get started with some questions.
Okay, great.
Well, first off, we'll ask you, if you can tell us a little bit about how you started in acting.
Yeah, I got started in the business when I was about 4 years old because I wanted to be on the show called Romper Room, which was like an early Barney. And I just told my mom I want to be on that show, and she called a manager in New York City, and we started driving into New York City often for auditions. I booked my first, third, and fifth audition, and so it just, we could just tell that I liked doing this, and it was, I had something for it. There was something going on that was working, and I got to do some really great stuff as a kid. I started out with commercials and guest starring on things like SNL or The Equalizer and soap operas and things like that. And then at 10, I started doing some theater, some really incredible theater in New York City. And then at 13, I got the part of Clarissa. And then at 20, got the part of Sabrina. And now I'm on Melissa and Joey. So it just sort of snowballed from the age of 4 on.
Yeah, can you back up a bit and tell us a little bit about, the role of Clarissa and how that wound up?
Yeah, well, I just wrote a book called Clarissa Explains It All, and it comes out this October, and it really tells you the story of my life, kind of it goes in sequence of my life and tells you about how I started, what my family was like, what my childhood was like and all that. But Clarissa came about because I was doing a play in New York City directed by Joe Mantello and written by Peter Hedges, who are two amazing players in the game these days. And I was doing this play, and the executive producer, Clarissa, did not want a blonde to play the role, so he wouldn't see me for the audition, although my agent was pushing and pushing. And he heard from his veterinarian that that I was good in the play that I did, and so he agreed to see me for the audition. And then I had to audition 3 times, and basically the third audition I met with him. He asked me if I liked New Kids on the Block, and I said, ugh, no. And then, which I immediately regretted because I thought I just made a mistake. He wasn't going to give me the part now because everyone else in the world loves New Kids on the Block. And he asked who I did like, and I said, They Might Be Giants. And it turns out, I didn't know this at the time, but it turns out he loved that answer, and They Might Be Giants became Clarissa's top band on the show because I said that in the audition. But of course in the audition I was like, oh, I blew this, I didn't get the part, he hates me. But I ended up getting a call the next day saying, hey, guess what, you're Clarissa. And I ended up in Orlando, Florida for 4 years doing that show.
Yeah, that show definitely was very popular around that time. Did you have much other input as far as developing that character besides the band stuff, or?
No, they just they really watched me and what I was doing in my life, the things I liked and disliked, and they, they could tell that I was I didn't really fit into the typical teenage girl mode, so they kind of watched me to see where they could pull from my life to use for the character. But he also had children of his own, the showrunner, and they just watched pop culture. And Clarissa was quoting people like the Dalai Lama and Queen Latifah, and and wanting to be like Jane Pauley and wanting to date the bully at school and beat him up, and it was a really incredible character to play, a fun show to be on, and she was just a very interesting person, and it's a real cult hit now, so it's really kind of withstood the test of time, I guess.
Yeah, it seems, too, that show, at least for girls around that time, really had a big influence on them and maybe even broke down some of the barriers for, shows to have their own female stars. And
yeah, it was definitely one of the first female leads on television, as well as, the fashion is still talked about to this day. We had some really interesting designers on the show that did some really bizarre, twisted things, and I still hear from people today saying I got into fashion because of that show, because I loved the way Clarissa dressed, and it made me want to be in fashion. And there was also one of the first times maybe the first time on television someone had broken a fourth wall and talked directly to the camera. I know the producer talked a lot about stealing that from Ferris Bueller.
Sure.
That he wanted to do that sort of thing with a girl. And, obviously today everybody does that, but especially with shows like The Office and whatnot. But Clarissa was really, I think, the first sitcom that did that. And then, and also the computer graphics and doing computer stuff way back in the primitive early computer days before Apple blew up. And it's really interesting to go back and watch that part, because they're terrible graphics and terrible computer graphic stuff, but it was sort of cutting edge at the time.
Yeah, definitely. Now, you went ahead and recorded an album. This is what Na-Na means. Can you talk to us about that?
Right.
We have a copy of it right now.
We've got it right in front of you here. It's amazing.
It's before, Clarissa was before the days of the Disney machine, before you had a girl on a show and you gave her an album and you had her have her own fragrance line and a clothing line at Target and, all that stuff. So there weren't, just because you starred in your own show doesn't mean you were a franchise or a brand. But for some reason, the producer was ahead of his time again and decided Clarissa needed an album. And so we went in the studio and recorded an album. But I am a terrible singer. So, I mean, they did their best to make me sound good. But I don't know. That's my biggest fear in life is if I ever have to stand up on a stage and take a microphone and sing.
Well, we thought it was amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Is it okay if we play some of it on the show then?
Oh, yeah, go for it. Okay. That's fine. I don't know. It's funny. I can't. I mean, I had to do the same thing on Sabrina. I did a song One Way or Another. I covered Blondie for an episode of Sabrina, and making the mistake of going in the studio and recording it so it would sound the best it could possibly sound. And they ended up putting on an album a Sabrina soundtrack along with Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears and In Sync, and the album went gold. But it was just so funny because my husband's in music, and I'm always teasing him that I was like, I have a gold record too, So it's funny, even though I'm like, I really, if you ever heard me sing, which on an episode of Melissa and Joey that I have to shoot next week, I have to sing karaoke. I sound like a cat dying, it's not cute. Or Kermit the Frog on Helium, or it's not cute.
Well, we will play the music, but not enough of it to spark an interest in a tour or anything.
Yes, please.
Well, can you tell us a bit then, when you left Clarissa and wound up on Sabrina the Teenage Witch, were you surprised that show lasted as long as it did and was so popular?
I did a little bit because the network didn't really give it a very good chance in the beginning. They were very excited about the show Clueless coming out, and we were sort of like the partner to Clueless. So every commercial ad and poster campaign and everything seemed to be like Clueless, and then watch Sabrina. It was sort of like an afterthought. And Clueless only lasted one season, and we went on to have 7 amazing seasons. So it was sort of like, it wasn't looked at as going to be this big hit, but people just love that magic element, and I think that is what really drew people in. Plus, we had the added benefit of it being mainly a kid-friendly show with some of the things the cat and the older characters would say that could appeal to adults and go over kids' heads, so adults could enjoy it with their children, which is what I hear the most from fans is parents saying, hey, you know what, your show's the only one I could ever watch with my child, and it brought our family together, and we spent Fridays on the couch together watching TV, and that's always so great to hear, because that's what we wanted with that show. We wanted to bring families together with that show, and the way people used to watch I Dream of Jeannie and Bewitched and stuff, so I think people just love that magic element, and so we were pretty lucky with that show that we could tap into, that people found it, that we were able to be on a network and on a Friday night when families are home together.
Yeah, definitely. Well, now, being on all these shows, when you were growing up, is it weird knowing that a large chunk of the male population, myself included, had a crush on you at one time or another? Is that weird, knowing that?
No, that's great. I love that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm blushing right now. I don't know. It's sweet. It's sweet to hear. It's very nice.
Well, then you mentioned Sabrina and Clarissa, these two kind of iconic characters that you wound up playing. Would you say it's difficult at all to sort of distance yourself from those roles, when you're trying to branch out and do other things?
It is, but that's what's great about it, too. It's I am my own kind of my career, my name is sort of a stumbling block in my career. It helps and it hurts, which is so bizarre with considering the success that I've had in the past.
Yeah.
But that's how this industry works, you know. And but at the same time, you know, people try, you know, fight to act their whole lives. You know, they'll most actors are dead broke, and like 99% of SAG, they don't make minimum wage, and you know, and all they want is that one role that breaks them out. And I've been lucky enough to now have 3 title characters in long-running sitcoms. My show, Melissa and Joey, just got picked up yesterday for 40 more episodes, so we're going to get to 101 episodes by the end of next year. So it's my 3rd long-running sitcom that's going to end up in syndication, and you know, that's incredible. That's like lightning striking 3 times, and you know, I know I'm very blessed to have that, so I don't regret that for a second. But it is, you know, kind of one of those things where forever I've been known as a TV star and not, you know, a movie star, because you know, it's harder to get those roles, and I just don't have time to even go audition or work with an acting coach on a part. So, you know, I've been very blessed to have a constant career where I'm a working actress, and that's just a rare thing in this world.
Yeah, and you mentioned now your new show with Joey Lawrence just got picked up again. So it sounds like from the age of 4 until, you know, who knows when, you'll be working pretty steadily on this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that, like I said, that is rare in this business, so I have to count my lucky stars for sure. And especially now I have a family, and being on Melissa and Joey is, first of all, so much fun. The show is just a blast. It's so funny, it's hilarious, and it's the most fun show I've been on for sure. Clarissa was my favorite character. Sabrina was the most fun I've had just in my life, just being able to hang out with that crew for 7 years and do all the funky, fun things that show allowed us to do. But Melissa and Joey is the funniest show I've been on, for sure. It's an adult, racy comedy where I get to just kind of go balls to the wall and just be silly. And, you know, I get to be Lucy, you know, and it's amazing to get to go to work every day and make people laugh. And then go home to my family, because sitcom is also the best schedule in the business. You know, these other shows or movies, these people are working 12 to 22-hour days, and some of my work days are only 4 hours long, and I get to go home to my kids, you know, and be with them after school or take them to soccer or hockey. So it's, you know, it's a real blessing.
Awesome. And you mentioned you were working on a book soon that's coming out.
Yeah, my book's coming out October 22nd. It's called Clarissa Explains It All, and it just kind of chronologically goes through my life from, you know, what my family was like in my early career, and, you know, Clarissa days, Sabrina days, my partying days, boys I've kissed on screen, parties I've thrown, kids I've had, how I met my husband, how I became a football widow because he is obsessed with football, so in the fall it's like I'm just all on my own. You know, we've had to plan pregnancies around football season and whatnot, so, and the book just kind of really tells the story of my life.
Excellent. Well, we're looking forward to getting a copy of that and the new show. Is there anything else you want to leave us with?
Well, I am now an ambassador for Nutrisystem, so I speak very highly of that since I had my baby 8 months ago, and I've managed to lose 29 pounds of my baby weight through Nutrisystem, so that's been amazing. It's such an easy, great program to use. And I'm also an owner of an app called Yowza, and it's a free app you can get on your smartphone, and it brings coupons straight to your phone, so you can walk into businesses in your town, in your community, or wherever you are, and right there on your phone you have the coupon to get discounts and whatnot. So you can also use them online. So that's something everyone can go and check out.
Yowza.
Yowza.
Yeah, it sounds like you've covered the gamut with pretty much.
I like to stay busy.
Yeah, I guess so.
Awesome.
Well, we got to say,
All right.
Melissa, it's been great having you on, and sorry if we sounded creepier earlier with the crush question there, but
No, that's okay. No, that's great. It's, you know, it's just it's creepy when it comes to my friends' husbands, but it's fine when it comes from you guys. So.
Thanks so much for
right.
For putting up with us.
No problem. Thank you guys.
all right, have a good day.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.